Hello guys, once again welcome back to my channel. So guys, in today's video I want us to talk about a little history of Jamaica and how it gained independence. Now guys, we all know that Jamaica gained its independence in August 6th, 1962, whereby that marked the end of the British colonial rule. But the big question is, did it really mark the end of the British colonial rule? So guys, now Jamaican Independence Act was passed by the UK government on July 19th, 1962. Now I want you to look at this video. Watch this video carefully and then engage me in the comment section. Tell me what you think, because it is claimed that the Jamaicans were totally scammed about their independence. So guys, watch this video and then I'll be back with more comments.
Have you ever asked yourself the question, where did Jamaica's constitution come from? Think about it carefully. In the 1960s, the Jamaican people voted in 1962 to leave the Federation of the Caribbean. They were misled by Bustamante and the JLP that it was in their best interest not to be a part of a federation of Caribbean states. In other words, they rejected a unified Caribbean where all of us would be one country. They rejected that, but they didn't do that out of knowledge and wisdom and understanding. They did that out of ignorance, and they were misled by Bustamante and his party for personal reasons to do that. After that, what do you call it now, decision to leave the Federation, Norman Manley, together with Bustamante, decided to pursue the path of a so-called independent Jamaica. But that was a trick, and I'm going to explain to you how and why. So the people of Jamaica, mistakenly or otherwise, voted to leave the Federation. Okay? They voted to leave the Federation. And these two parties then sat down and decided that they're going to apply for independence on behalf of Jamaica. Let's put it that way. And so they put together a preliminary presentation for the colonial body that was running Jamaica, which is the UK. And their position was, we'd like to be independent and we want to create what we called a constitutional monarchy. I'm sure they didn't think of that by themselves, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. And so they went to England and they said to the monarchy, we want to be independent, but we want to keep you as our head of state, and we want to keep as many of your way of doing things as possible, including having a partisan system of governance where we'll divide into two tribes and fight each other for scarce benefits and spoils, according to P.J. Patterson. The Colonial Office sanctioned their plan, of course happily so, because basically we're going to tell the people of Jamaica that you're independent, but you're going to maintain a colonial structure and operate from that. So they came back to Jamaica with a document called the Order in Council from the Monarchy of England and said, yeah, we are now independent, and we're going to be your two parties, government and opposition, and we have some rules about how we're going to run things pretty much between us, two cousins, Norman and Bustamante, two parties that came from them, having destroyed Marcus Garvey and his political party at the time, which was the first political party in Jamaica and the first people's party. Yeah, it was a people's party. And the two colonial parties worked with the plantocracy, that's the PSOJ back in those days, and the media, which is controlled by the PSOJ, of course, and back in those days, the plantocracy, and together with the Crown, they colluded in strategic ways to ensure that they got rid of Marcus Garvey and stopped his political party and prevented Jamaica from having a real government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And they created this fake constitution, an order in council, and then they implemented that. But wait a second. Did the people of Jamaica ever vote for that constitution? Did the people of Jamaica ever ratify that constitution? I put it to you, and the answer is no. So the Jamaican people have never been asked in a referendum to vote on whether or not they wanted this colonial constitution to govern them, or if they want something else. So the people of Jamaica have never ratified, they have never voted for what we now call the Jamaican Constitution. It is a fraud. It is the biggest scam ever committed against the people of Jamaica, and it has lasted now for 62 years. Think about it. And the same two party that joined the scam in 1944 to give us a fake democracy is the same two parties 18 years later would band together and gave us a fake constitution and a fake independence. Now that is very important, because what it means is that the government of Jamaica is illegitimate. Yeah, those who occupy it, it's illegitimate. The constitution that they're governing us under is illegitimate. It is fraudulent. And the current Constitutional Reform Committee is therefore illegitimate. But worse than that, these two parties have been getting consistently less and less votes at the polls. In fact, in the last local government election, only 30%, in fact less than 30% of the electorate voted for those two parties. That means the majority of Jamaicans have not voted for them, have not participated in the electoral process. The same thing has happened in the general election, where more and more and more, to the last election, 63% of Jamaicans did not participate in the voting process, which means the government only had, believe it or not, 37% of the electorate participating, and the sitting government, the ruling party, only got 21% of that total possible number of votes. So you have a minority government, not just minority, a fraudulent government, because the votes that they got were actually bought. Can you imagine? These two parties, they have full control of the media, because the PSOJ, which funds them, also owns the media. And they use the money from the PSOJ, which was extracted from the Jamaican people in the first place, to buy back the votes of the poor and oppressed Jamaicans to win elections. They do this so that they can keep out other parties, because once the PSOJ controls the bulk of our economy and has the funds to give back to them, and the PSOJ oligarchs only funds them, then you're blocking out any other party from being able to participate under normal circumstances. Any third party have to find a tremendous amount of money from alternate sources in order to compete with them. So the deck is stacked against third parties and fully in favor of the two colonial parties. In fact, the entire constitutional setup is designed to protect the interest of those two parties. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica is set up to protect that bipartisan position of those two parties. So the bottom line is, Jamaica is caught between a rock and a hard place. We're stuck. We are in a monopoly, a political monopoly and economic monopoly that gives the two parties and the elites from the PSOJ oligarchs full dominion and control over Jamaica, even if the people decides not to vote. And we have been doing that. Here's the catch. We need to realize that the Constitution of Jamaica is not the Constitution of Jamaica. It is an order in council from the monarchy of England that has never been ratified by the people of Jamaica, which means it's null and void. That constitution has no say over us, but we have behaved as though it does, and we have followed their court system as though it does. The truth is, we now need to recognize that we have been scammed, that the entire system is fraudulent, and that we the people have to rise up now, like Nani, like Sam Sharp, like Bogle and take back our country from them, expel them from the seat of power and government, and set up a truly Jamaican constitution, one that will protect the rights and freedoms of Jamaicans, both individually and collectively as a people, from those who are committed to keeping us in one form of slavery or another. Trust me, the time has come for us to open our eyes and see what has been done to us by these two colonial parties. I know you may have been brought up to respect and revere them, but they're actually a part of a massive scam, a deception that has defrauded the people of Jamaica for over 80 years now. From the 1930s, they have been working at it, and they have successfully committed the biggest fraud in the history of Jamaica by getting us to buy into a lie, to accept a constitution that we the people have never voted for. A constitution that is therefore null and void because it was never ratified in a referendum by us. We were never asked whether or not we want this constitution, and now we must reject it fully and vote UIC in the next election.
Once again, welcome back to my channel. Now the biggest question is, did Jamaica really gain its full independence from this British colonial rule? Because from this video, we can tell that Jamaica is yet to gain its full independence. What do you think about this video, guys? And who is responsible for Jamaica as a country and Jamaicans as the citizens of that country still living under the British colonial rule? Were the Jamaicans scammed by the fake independence from these British people? Or could it be that the leaders who have taken over Jamaica are the ones selling out their people to these British people? We had cases where the Jamaican government, it was reportedly that they gave the Chinese people access to its port. They gave the Chinese people, or rather the Chinese government, more privilege to build hotels in Jamaica. They were actually building roads, and by giving the Chinese the power, or rather control over the ports, this means that the Chinese will be responsible to what's coming in Jamaica and what's going out of Jamaica. We've had people complain of the Prime Minister of Jamaica, who is Mr. Andrew Holness. A lot of people have complained, but also a lot of people have praised him for his good work. But the question is, why is there still British colonial rules in Jamaica? Or you tell me, is there still British colonial rules in Jamaica? Tell me what you think in the comment section. So guys, I'm your host Larry. If you enjoyed this video, kindly don't leave without giving me a subscribe, a like and a share. To my returning subscribers, I have to say thank you so much for always coming back to view my videos. And to my new subscribers, my new viewers, I want you to feel much welcomed on board. Otherwise, I'm your host Larry, and until we meet again, peace out.